So it's the Monday morning, it's the aftermath of the 24-hour marathon of listing on eBay and Vinted. Was it worth it? Did I sell anything? Well, you're going to find out today because it's a what sold video, and I'm going to tell you the outcome of the 24-hour listing marathon. Good morning, people. Yes, it's quite early for me. It is 8:30 and that's quite early. I was going to do this earlier, but I thought, you know what, let's have a lane. I am still trying to catch back up on my sleep because if you didn't know, over the weekend I listed straight on YouTube live for 24 hours. I wanted to boost my eBay and my sales up more than Vinted because Vinted seems to be doing okay, to be fair, but eBay is, I don't know, I think it's gone on holiday itself. So I thought, you know what, what's better than to actually just list as many as possible in 24 hours. But did it work? Well, today you will find out because I've got quite a lot of orders. Yes, I've got 20 in total, adding up to £242. Not the biggest, but you'll be surprised how many of these items actually sold, which I listed on the live when I did the 24 hours. So let's get into it and see what's sold. Let's go through Vinted today because it doesn't make any difference which one I go through because both platforms sold 10 each. But which one made more money? Well, you'll find out at the end when I break down the totals. So let's go with the biggest thing I sold, and it was this massive IKEA bear. I did it on the live when I did the 24-hour, and like I said, most of the sales you will see today are from the live. The ones I didn't list on live, I'll tell you about, but all the others are from the live. So yeah, I sold this for £17. I picked up a bundle of beds. I think there's 3, all IKEA large ones for about £8. So it hardly owes me anything. And I sold it on Vinted, like I said, for £17. One of the first sales I had on the live, which I called the Listathon, was this Mr. Men Little Miss Giggles. It's a comic relief one. So it's worth probably about £10, but I put it on Vinted for a £5. One of my subscribers who actually was coming in and out of the live bought this Maisie Daisy 25 on, ooh, wait a minute. That's an eBay thing. Cheers, mate, I'll think about it. Yeah, I just put a vintage Billabong wool blend jumper on for $29.99, and this morning he asked, what's the best deal you can do? I said 27. It's worth 30 quid all day. And he thought, cheers, I'll think about it. Anyway, Maisie Daisy 25, thank you very much for this. This actually kick-started off the sales. For £25, I sold some Nike outlet cargo green trousers. Really nice. I bought 2 of these. I think they cost me around about £13. Loads of interest on these. There was up for 35. Someone gave me an offer for 25. I thought, you know what? Let's get rid of them. No point in hanging around. I've had them for long enough. And they sold, obviously, in the same day as I put them up. For $29.99 is an iPhone 6 Plus. This was my dad's, obviously from years ago. He used to have all the top tech when it came out. Something new come out, he'd buy it. And he obviously bought this back in the day when it was modern. I listed this yesterday and it sold straight away on Vinted for $29.99, and obviously it cost me nothing. As you know, me and Kai went around the charity shops. I think it was just before we went on holiday, and he spent his own pocket money to see if he could make some more money for himself, and he picked up some really good items. It all went on my mom's Vinted. Obviously I didn't want to get taxed for it and all that lot, but she doesn't really get much like interaction because she doesn't really sell. So I thought, you know what, we gave it a go, we sold some things, let's get the other things on my platforms. Stuck this on, and guess what, it sold straight away. So he made £10 out of this. I think it cost him like £2.50. The only thing he hasn't sold yet, which I have listed now, is the blood pressure monitor. And then he has sold all these things. I think he's made around about £70 in total, I think. And he only spent £14 on that day. For £24.50 are these beautiful Nicholas Deacon shoes. I was raving about these on the live, saying these are some top quality shoes. I used to have them for nights out. I think they were around about 70, 80 quid, brand new, back in the day. And yeah, they were immaculate. There's nothing really wrong with them. There's a little scuff somewhere, but these pair of shoes had a lot of attention. Loads of people was lowballing me, but finally somebody gave me an offer of £24.50 and I took it. For £2, yes, only £2, but I'm already in profit, is this old Siemens phone. Doesn't owe me anything. Like I said, I've made my money on it. I picked up a massive bundle of old phones for £8. She could not get rid of them. So I said, how much you want for them? She said, give me £8. I think there was about 10 or 12 phones in total. I saw a couple in there which were quite good ones. I've sold them. I think I sold them for like 20 quid, something like that. One is actually going to a school. It's for like little play school where they're going to pretend to have it as a play phone. So yeah, £2 doesn't owe me nothing. For £5.50, we've got a little grommet from Wallace and Gromit. Original, old, I think it's 1989. Yeah, 1989. Cost me 50p from a car boot ages ago. For £4, we got 2 VHSs. We got Goonies, one of the best films ever, and Fury of the Dragon, one of the OGs and my favourite martial artist person. Absolutely love him. He is a legend, and obviously Sloth is a legend too. I had a massive bundle from a car boot. I think they cost me like 40p each. Put them up, and I've done quite well with them. I've sold quite a lot of VHSs. So yeah, £4 for these, and they cost me what, 80p. On to the next one, and that is a willow tree. So I picked this up from a car boot on Wednesday. Picked up like a Matty Ferguson radio, a vintage aftershave, and this all for £10. This cost me £2, I think, and it's a lovely little willow tree ornament of a woman with a bouquet of flowers. Sold this for £8, quick and simple, no fuss as well, easy to pack. On Vinted, I totaled £119.93. That's not bad for a weekend on Vinted, to be fair. I wanted to list as many things as possible in 24 hours. In total, I listed around about 70 to 80. It's somewhere in the region of that. Obviously, I'm on Vinted and eBay only. I'm not on anything else. I'm not on a cross-list platform or anything like that. So I was doing it manually, but I just don't see the point of paying for a cross-listing service, you know, for 2 platforms. It's just being lazy, and literally it takes about a minute to load up. So if I was only on eBay, I probably could have listed maybe 100, maybe even more. So if you think about it, I've probably listed about 140, 50 altogether if you add the both platforms together, and it seems to have done quite well. Like I said, 20 orders in a weekend when I've really had nothing. I haven't really listed, have I, for a long time. I've only started listing from the end of last week, and yeah, I wanted to see if this worked, not only for myself but for you guys as well. If you're struggling to sell stuff, maybe you're not getting many sales, maybe, well, I'm not saying do a 24-hour listing spree, but maybe do a whole day, long night shift, you know, 12-hour shift, whatever many hours you want to do, or as many listings you want, or schedule them all and just pile them up for one day and just release loads on one day. It just might boost the algorithm, and also I'm going to carry on listing throughout the week, so my sales should even get better throughout the week. Fingers crossed. By the way, I had my phone on loud throughout that live, just so people could hear the cha-chings and all that lot. Not one cha-ching. I didn't sell anything on eBay through the whole 24 hours. Yeah, nothing. I don't think I did. If I did, I can't remember, because by the end of the 24 hours, I was a bit like monged out. But I completed the 24 hours, so thank you to everybody who joined me on that live. Anyway, let's get back onto it. We have sold a Mariah Carey concert like DVD. I didn't list this on the live. I can't even remember how much I paid for it, probably a couple of quid. And I've had it for ages. It's all sealed, brand new, but this sold for $11.99. A really good sale now for $29.99. And if you do see this, pick it up. Really nice. You might see some of the pieces there. All different like characters from Disney. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. In good condition as well. I think I picked it up for 5 quid. And like I said, I sold it for $29.99. For $9.99, I sold a Adidas tie-dye pink and yellow hat. Really nice. I think I picked it up for a quid, maybe 2 quid. Sold it for $9.99. Last night I sold this for £4. It's the Power Rangers movie, VHS, as you can see. In that bundle, when I picked up all the VHSs, this is one I thought might be worth a bit of money. Plus it's Power Rangers. A lot of people like Power Rangers. So that cost me 40p. We don't really need to mention these. If we see these, we always pick them up. But I picked this up for £5. Everything included, boxed as well. Sold it for the prices it goes for, $19.99. I probably could have got a bit more because it was in the box. You can actually sell these without the box for that price, but $19.99, paid a £5. For £12, I sold these Oakley O-frame motocross goggles. These are worth a lot more than 12 quid, but there is some damage to them. The material's a bit fraying. They have like sponge mesh that goes all the way around there. At the bottom, it's got a few holes, and obviously it's got a lot of scratches. It's been used. You're looking over 100 quid brand new for these. But like when I listed these, there's only like 11 listed which are pre-owned. So not many people sell these pre-owned because they're probably absolutely thrashed. But yeah, I don't even know how much I paid for these. I wouldn't have paid much more than a couple of quid. From a Wednesday car boot, I picked up 3 soaps for £1. These are foreign soaps. I ain't got a clue. Mango Classic Original. They're black soaps. Yeah. Paid £1. Sold them for $6.99. Last time I went to a Jumble Trail, there was a big box of like tech, like phones and baby monitors. And this wasn't it. A Nintendo Switch charger. Sold it straight away. When I listed it last night, it went for $9.99. You can get a little bit more, but I thought, you know what, let's lower the price and let it go quickly, and it did. And then finally, to round up this video, we had a VHS sale for $7.99, Flight of the Navigator. If you are born in the 80s, you probably have seen this film. Absolutely brilliant film. Part of that bundle, so 40p. And then Zallo, haven't got a clue what it's about, never heard of it. Sold that for 7 quid. So on eBay, in total, I made £122 and 99p. So I've done all right. Like I said, not massive figures. £242 and some pennies. Yeah, it's not the biggest. A lot of people have been saying that eBay is dead at the moment, and I want to see if that's right. It's not dead, right? Yes, it's not 4, 5, 6, 7, 800 pounds worth of orders, but I haven't been selling that recently. You know, when you haven't been selling hardly anything because due to not listing, you need to start from somewhere. And selling 20 orders over the weekend is great, you know, especially for just putting out loads. And it might kickstart the rest of this week with more sales. But guys, maybe if you are struggling to sell stuff, do this. Not 24 hours. But maybe a 12-hour shift, just listing as many as possible. It might work for you. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this. If you did, hit the like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.